But we don't mind. We're testing everybody on YouTube. We're going live here really soon. Oh, Shannon, that looks good.
Hey!
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm so excited. Paul Wharton's here. We're live on YouTube. Hey, everybody. Thanks for following us on YouTube. And starting Wednesday, actually, we'll solely be live on YouTube.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Just keep
Very
upgrading
exciting.
yourself, don't you?
Just keep giving us the upgrade. Keep giving us the upgrade. All the free ones.
I love it. I love it.
All the ones that don't cost anything. I mean,
Are we live?
No, not really.
Okay.
Well, we are on YouTube. YouTube is carrying the video now and our voices.
I love it.
But we're like 2 seconds away from going live on Facebook. Everyone is so excited about your return.
That is exciting. I'm excited to be here.
I know. I want to hear all about what's going on.
Sure.
You've been in LA.
I've been everywhere,
New
right?
York,
Oh my
back to DC, back to New York.
Oh,
I feel
so
like
many
you
things.
could be moving to New York.
and somebody wanted to know
It's
if I'm
like,
moving
you're
to LA, right?
Yeah. Are we live? Woo! Okay.
Hey! Hey! Oh!
All right, Paul.
Okay.
Sarah from Hey Frase.
Yes. Yes, he's back.
Podcast.
Hey!
Not a cast pod.
Hey, Frase.
Every day she'll make you say,
Oh my God!
She got the scoop.
Hey!
On pop culture news. Oh my God,
Hey.
Jesse Smollett. I mean, I can't even.
Oh.
No. I can't even. I'm so upset about this Jesse Smollett. I went on this podcast because I saw so many people,
Yeah.
right? Friends that I have, like of all different backgrounds, everyone from the start. And I want to say it was like maybe even on like a Reddit feed or like a gay website or whatever. People were saying from the start that the Jesse Smollett thing was fake. That
Okay.
it was like a grinder date gone wrong. They lived in Chicago. They knew a friend of a friend. And I thought to myself, there's no way. This man is credible. He
Sure.
appeared. He's credible.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, why would someone in that position, right? You're going to lie about major hot points in our society right now. Race, LGBTQ, MAGA hat. You're having a big glass of wine, a big sip. I thought to myself,
Yes.
there's no way he'd never do that. He works for Fox, now being bought by Disney, which Disney's very conservative.
Yes.
There's no way he's going to do this, right? And I come on this podcast and I go, and I too, like Jesse Smollett, I'm offended by the doubters. Okay, P.S. They're apparently opening a grand jury tomorrow to see if there's enough evidence to charge him
And yet
formally.
he's still denying having any involvement, huh?
Still hardcore denying.
I mean, he took a page out of Trump's book. Look, I just
He
didn't do
did.
it. I
think
just
he
didn't
did.
do it.
I think he did too.
I just didn't do it.
Don't you think that we are living in a society where if you deny enough, then there's enough question that, because I still think about that too. I'm like, maybe he didn't make it up because he's so adamant and so furious that people doubt him. And like when that Robin Roberts, he was so upset and passionate in that interview. Didn't you think?
I'm going to pull her into this. Why did you pull Robin Roberts into this?
People are giving her a lot of shit.
Do that to my sister because it was a softball interview.
Softball interview.
Yeah.
That she didn't really go in for.
But she was interviewing the victim.
Well, I also think that people don't understand a lot of times with those networks and interviews, they're paying a lot of the people that they're interviewing, or those interviewees are making deals. Like, you cannot ask me for legal reasons about X, Y, or Z.
Because everyone wanted that interview.
Everybody wanted that interview. So I think Robin, I'm sure, given to her own, journalistic.
Well, you saw her face. She's like,
oh yeah, she was sitting there with her leg on her knee like, this is looking awfully shady as a lesbian woman. I'm thinking this isn't good.
Absolutely.
Okay,
well,
look, before we get in, we got to dish all that, but you're back. Paul Wharton is here. You guys, welcome to the Hey Frase podcast. We are live on Facebook. P.S. Today is the last day we're going to be live on Facebook. We are moving to YouTube. We're going to be solely on YouTube and then sharing clips. So go to Hey Frase on YouTube, like it, share today's show. If you're a fan of Paul Wharton, which thousands of you are, because I got so many messages about Paul being back. Be sure to share it, tag Paul, and tell a friend about the podcast. And I love Paul is like looking glamorously with his big, fabulous Chanel looking glasses into the camera like, y'all better share me, you bitches.
These are from Inside Opticians. I love them. They're Oliver Goldsmith. I love them.
We're getting a Paul Wharton ding bell too.
Ad. You know me.
So he's
got to keep the lights on in this.
Got to keep the lights on in this motherfucker. You and AJ. AJ is still out. She'll be back on Wednesday, but her brother got married over the weekend in Mexico.
Oh my gosh. How do you feel about not being invited?
Totally fine. As someone who is now planning a wedding, it's a nightmare. And I've had people ask if they can be invited. I want to invite everyone, but it is like out of control.
I saw Ava Marcells on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She was having a total meltdown last night, saying she was $50,000 over with her wedding planning.
I can relate.
I thought about you.
We're 15,000 over budget. It's a nightmare.
You better throw some more ads up on this. What can we sell?
So speaking of, we have a lot of people. Okay, so we got a lot of people to thank. We're booking a ton of commercials, basically for this wedding. Okay, so we got to thank some people that are sponsors of the show. First of all, I want to tell you this is the last week to buy tickets to our Mindful Eating Seminar, which is this Sunday, with Robin Mize, my mindful eating therapist. We talk a lot about this show on my weight loss journey over the years, but mindful eating is all about healing your relationship with food. So if you've gained and lost weight over the years, if you've been a yo-yo dieter, if you've never really been comfortable in your own skin, it's what it's all about. And a lot of people ask me, is mindful eating about losing weight? And the answer to that is no. First, it's about healing your relationship with food. But if you no longer binge eat, if you no longer go on yo-yo diets, if you don't emotionally eat, you will find your natural weight, which lots of times means losing weight. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So tickets can be purchased eventbrite.com. It's Mindful Eating Seminar this Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. at Arlington Arts Center, or they're on heyfrase.com. Price of the ticket is $125, but you're essentially getting like 5 sessions with Robin, which would be about $170. So a $1,000 value for $125, because we're going to go through all the steps, identifying your food triggers. You're going to watch a live session. There's tons of exercises and workbooks that you're going to be taking back home with you.
And do it for yourself, because some people will spend that on brunch. So do this for yourself.
Do
Absolutely.
this for
You're
yourself.
Worth it.
We also have to thank our sponsor, Advantage Financial, here in DC. They are the place you need to go, the credit union. Paul, do you know the difference between a credit union and a bank? I didn't know this.
Not really.
Okay. So a credit union is started by a group of people and it's not for profit, whereas a bank is for profit.
Oh.
So that's why credit unions can offer you like lower interest rates. They can offer you better automotive loans, better like small business loans. So go to Advantage Financial. They're a new partner of the Hey Frase podcast. We absolutely love them. They're here in DC, and you need to go to their website to find out if you qualify, because if you do, their rates are unbelievable and they are known for not charging fees.
I love that.
So Advantage Financial Federal Credit Union, they're open 7 days a week in Washington, DC at 175 N N Street Northeast. They believe you shouldn't have to pay a fee for using your own money. Open a free checking account today and get $50 cash. Go to advfcu.org/pod. Sign up on the Hey Frase page. And unlike many banks, we do not charge a monthly service fee, and you do not need to maintain a minimum balance. So they're awesome.
Love it.
So we're going to be plugging many other businesses that work with us throughout this podcast, both of us. Anyhow, so Paul Wharton is back. Let's talk. We're going to talk.
Can I just say something?
What?
I love how everyone you have, I have actually one in the same category. You should go here, actually, but you could also go here. But I'm not going to blow up your spot. I know you got a wedding to pay for. I'm going to leave you alone.
Oh, you've got a mindful eating seminar. By the way, I also have a seminar.
I'm also promoting a brunch this weekend.
Oh, we'll get to all that. I want to talk to you about so much. I want to talk to you, Jesse Smollett, because it remains a trending topic that everyone is discussing. More millennials than ever are signing contracts for this. I want to know if you've ever had anyone ask you to do this, because you're a businessman and you're a contract guy. You know the lay of the land. Yeah. And then the past month and a half, you have been world traveler. You've been in LA having lunch with Vivica A. Fox, Jennifer Lewis. You've been to her one-woman show. Wait, I feel like you did something else. I was like, this is amazing. What is he doing?
What did I do?
You've been with so many celebrities, but I feel like there was somebody.
Oh, Kathy Griffin, maybe?
Yes,
did we talk about that?
Maybe you and Kathy Griffin. I was like, what the fuck? He's full on.
I'm so Hollywood.
You're so Hollywood. How do you, you know what else? It was you and like Whoopi Goldberg. Looked like you were hanging out at someone's house.
Whoopi's house.
What? How do you know all these people?
I'm Paul Wharton. See, this is the problem. You answer your phone, you're available to people. They don't think you're anybody. I just like you. That's the only reason why I answer.
Okay, wait a sec. So you go to New York and Whoopi, what? You text Whoopi, you call Whoopi. How did you end up at Whoopi's?
No, Whoopi's was New Year's Eve. That's when I was at Whoopi's for New Year's Eve. Have I been here since then?
No, you haven't been here, because I remember getting a text from you like January 2nd. Sweetie, build up my return. I'll be back in February, sweetie.
Yeah, they wanted me to come back in January. I wasn't available for that.
I said, honey, sweetie, February.
We got something to promote.
February. So you've been gone since then?
I've been gone since then. I've been having a wonderful time traveling and having a good time. And, I took off a couple of months from drinking. So actually, New Year's Eve at Whoopi's was great because Whoopi doesn't drink. I wasn't drinking at all.
Okay.
And I had a great time. Just, partying and dancing and working on myself.
Okay, we need the whole scoop. Are you dating anyone? People want an update on Renzo. Did Renzo send you anything for Christmas or New Year's?
Renzo sent me nothing physical. He sent me a WhatsApp message on Valentine's Day with like some hearts. I'm like, just don't get it, do you? It just doesn't translate. I don't know what to tell you. But no, Renzo's in the past.
So what's going on? Are you dating anybody?
Well, I'll tell you. I don't know if I'm dating anybody, but I'm doing the most fun thing with this guy I met on. My mom's watching. She's going to be like, "Don't talk about this again."
Oh my God!
I talked about it on my podcast last week on Valentine's Day on politics, y'all. The new season of politics is out now, so definitely check that out.
I cannot wait to listen to episode 1 because you had your friend Darnell. For people who don't know Darnell, he is like epic.
That was last week. That was 2.
Oh my God!
That was episode 2 on season 2.
Episode 2, season 2. Okay, I cannot wait to listen to that.
I think it's episode 17 or something like that. Yeah.
Because he is so over the top.
18.
And he called in here once and we were like, do you have anything to say? Anything to say? Like, he's like completely.
Sweetie, did you send a check? Did you send the check? I don't know. He called. He was there.
Amazing friends.
So he was there in studio and we called. We had a Valentine's Day Tenderoni. The truth about Deroni. She's a sweet little boy. You remember that? Bobby Brown? Okay. You're always almost there with me. I mean, you want to be there with me, but you're not quite.
Your music catalog is much more deep than mine is.
So I met this guy on Tinder around December 20th.
Love this.
And we have not met. We were in the same city in New York City, and he went back to Boston and I came back to DC and we started talking and we hit it off. Now, he's not catfishing me because we FaceTime.
Okay, so he exists.
We FaceTime like a lot. And we talk every day and we text all day long. And I really like him. I think he's lovely.
Okay.
He's like one of the nicest people I've ever talked to in that way.
So you're like feeling out where that's going.
I'm feeling out where that's going, and we've made a date for March 30th in New York City. We are
Ooh.
going to go after 3 months of talking.
Ooh.
And I was on Bevy Smith's show last week. That's what I was doing.
There was another one. You
Yeah.
and the woman who does Sex with Emily podcast, which
Sex
is
with
huge.
Emily.
I was like, this is amazing. He is
So she gave me advice. She's actually going to be on my podcast next week on
great.
politics.
She's a good guest.
She's really
She's
good,
a good
huh?
get. Yeah.
She
Her
tells it like
podcast
it is.
huge.
So I say to her, I said, look, I mean, after 3 months, I show up in New York City. I mean, do I still have to wait? Is that like the first date? She's like, wait for what? Who's got time to wait?
So she's like, jump in, like do whatever.
Hey.
Like don't.
Hello. How are you?
Could you take your pants off now?
There you go. You said it, not me. Mom, she's such a slut.
I am. And I wish, as now I'm getting married, I wish I would have been a bigger slut. I'm so upset. My biggest regret not being a whore.
Slut out on Dan.
I know. Okay. Well, no, I don't think that's a good idea. No.
After the wedding, you might be like, what in the world is going
No,
on?
I always say this. My Dano is like Schmano is a monogamous little swan. So let me tell you, that swan is,
I think it's wonderful. No,
He's-
I mean, slut out on him.
Oh, on him.
Like, on him.
No problem. Absolutely. I've got a plan. Yeah.
All day long. Did you hear about the Golden Girls cruise?
Yes, I did. Do you want to go on that? Like, would you go?
I kind of did. Well, I mean, maybe, but today on Good Morning Washington on ABC7, which
Yeah,
y'all
you're
should
on.
watch. They're fantastic. I love those people on Good Morning Washington.
They
and I
love
taped-
you, by the way.
I am having so much fun over there. It's so light and airy and just everybody's happy. I love it.
Opposed to what?
Do you mind working for free for a couple of months? We're trying to work out our money. It's just, there was a mix up at the bank. At the bank? I'm not doing shit for free.
I love it. I love you so much.
You're holding the consciousness over there. I can see it. You're like, and then what?
Well, I mean, we really want to dish all the dirt. And the problem is I haven't seen you, so I want to dish like all the real dirt.
Yeah.
But then we end up getting in trouble. So
Right.
we won't share it all.
We won't share it all. Yeah, but they asked, like, which one are you? And I just said on air, I said, I think I'm a Blanche.
Okay, Blanche was the kind of slutty one.
Yeah, and I used one of her lines when Kid O'Shea asked me. I said, set the scene. Have we been drinking?
That's a good one.
That's one of Blanche's lines.
Blanche really was the best one. And then who was the mom? Sophia.
Sophia,
Yeah.
she's funny.
Yeah, Sophia was super funny. Yeah.
And then Dorothy. I mean, I loved all of them
They
in their
all
own
were
way.
so good. Do you know anything about the cruise? I didn't read that story.
I don't know much, but actually, this person that I'm talking to, his name is Drew. He actually plans cruises. Like he does
Oh my God.
cruises
amazing.
for people. So I might do a Paul Wharton style cruise. Would y'all come on the cruise?
Yes, because you could do everything. You would do like a day where we just talk skincare, we talk fashion. Now you've got candles. You could do a candle making class. I mean, you could do endless stuff.
I love that.
I mean, then you could sing. We'd have karaoke night. I mean, we'd all be in our bathrobes. I mean, people love you. Yes, you could totally pull that off.
It's so good to see you.
It's so good to
It
see
is so good. I just looked at you. I'm like, damn, I missed
love
this.
you so-
I'm so happy AJ's gone.
know.
I mean, really, she came between us. I didn't want to be the one to say this,
Bitch.
but we really don't need her. In fact, stay where you are, sweetie. Shit, don't come back.
Oh my God.
I'm just
Oh my
kidding. You know I
God.
love that girl.
That is you. Oh my God.
She
The
came in
shade.
here. We had a good thing going. Everybody got a paycheck. Everything was good. Next thing you know, AJ comes along. She
can't
acts like
blame
she's an
AJ.
assistant, and then she slowly worked her way into the studio.
No, we gotta make isn't AJ the best though? Seriously,
He's
like
Absolutely the best.
comedy wise, technology wise, that's what I'm trying to say. Co-host wise, she's amazing. You and me, we need to find somebody bigger. Like this is an independent business, right?
Yeah.
So what you and I need to do to work together is we need to find somebody that's willing to pay our salaries because we
absolutely.
both have,
Yeah.
it's
We have
like
needs.
it's a real game now. Yeah,
It's a real situation.
so it's hard, I think, when you're in an independent kind of just starting out business to collaborate. You know what I mean? And everybody really.
yeah, we both be in line at that credit union like, she cut, getting back at me. I'm catching my shit first.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
All right. Tell me this. Talk to me about Jessie Smollett, because I did see this morning when you were on WJLA that you were talking about him. I'm sure
Right.
you probably know somebody who either is very closely associated with Empire
Yes.
or everybody.
I do.
So what's the deal? Did you know from the start? Because and I'll tell you, I have a lot of Black friends who from the start told me this was absolutely fake and bullshit. And I was like, No way.
Well, nobody wanted to believe that from the beginning, but I'll say this morning on Good Morning Washington, I did say that I'm trying not to judge him, and I'm still hopeful that he had nothing to do with this. Because when you think about it, someone that's been as blessed as he's been, he's a multi-talented person. He's an actor. He's a musician. He's on Empire, which isn't as hot as it used to be.
Sure.
You know, and Taraji has talked about maybe moving on and it could be coming to a close at some point soon.
The plot lines got too cheesy and predictable. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I never watched it.
I loved season 1, but then as you got to season 2, Lucius, and this isn't a spoiler alert, but Lucius, who's Terrence Howard's character, every episode, basically he would steal all their money, beat the kids up, and then the next day, like Taraji P. Henson's character, Cookie, would be like, okay, well, we just got to love your father. We got to be back. It's like, okay.
Wow.
This, you know what I'm saying? It got to the point, it was like soap opera-y, but so cheesy. You're like, this is
absolutely.
I think they were but it happens to so many shows, right? They end up jumping the shark after, like, season 1's phenomenal.
Yeah.
True Detective, I'm sort of there with it as well.
Okay.
But then by season 2, you're like, it's so I think, unfortunately, I don't know what happened. They were off to a great start, but then the writing went weird.
Yeah. So it's really tough, Sarah, because when you think this was my issue with it.
Okay, what was
someone attacks you. They've got bleach, they've got a rope or a noose, however you want to define that. They're attacking you, okay? And this is before the Robin Roberts interview, and I had an issue with that as well. The fury that it takes to attack somebody with bleach and a noose, you might take that person's head off without even knowing it. Like, somebody could kill you.
Yeah.
If they have that much rage in them where they're bringing bleach and a noose and there's 2 of them and they're big, okay? I mean, when you get out of that fight, you'll know you've been in a fight. You won't be on talking about, look at this, look right here, look close. No, it's right. No. Oh, shit. Oh, it's actually, well, where is it? Do you know what I mean? And I'm like looking at these selfies and I'm like, okay, I don't see it, but okay. You know, it was tough to believe. And when he got on Robin Roberts and he was talking to my sister Robin Roberts, and he was saying, you know, did he say motherfucker? Or he said something like, he punched me, I punched his ass back.
Yeah, he did say that.
Like all that. I'm like, first of all, sir, you are talking to Robin Roberts. Have some respect, first of all. And then I was a little suspicious with the, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, to me, it seemed like he was trying to convince her or else take her temperature on, are you believing this? Is all this shit working? Or has real life become indistinguishable from my character on Empire?
Okay, are you upset though? Because here's my thing. What I think is so hurtful about this is, as a gay man, I mean, we see in DC, in our community, right, in 2018, there were several actual hate crimes where people were beaten unconscious, like almost to the point of death, right? I just feel like this is a huge lie. Like, do you think if this turns out that this was fabricated, because it's alleged now that he paid these 2 Nigerian brothers, one had been a trainer of his for a while, they'd been on the set of Empire, $3,500 to $4,000 to essentially even rehearse it. And then they were supposed to attack him before January 29th to stage this entire thing. So if this comes out to be true, I mean, what do you think? Do you think he should be prosecuted, that Jussie Smollett should go to jail? You do? I
think that, yeah. I mean,
I
all
think
the
he's
resources,
going to. I think if,
you know, and people talk about this all the time. The president has even talked about the crime rate in Chicago. So to put all of these resources from the Chicago Police Department onto this, and you got investigators and you have concerned people. And I was in LA when this news came out. I learned my lesson from oversharing last week about Goddamn, y'all listen to the Paul Ward like that? Shit.
I know, don't you hate it? Once you get this gig, people want to sue you for every little thing that you say.
Well, the interesting thing is, you're sitting on a morning show like you always do. You got your coffee, you got your little cell phone. You don't be thinking about you're like, oh, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, I know something about that. Next thing you know, the shit goes viral. So you're like, this week, I'm like, okay, let me watch what I'm saying. But I was in LA and, you saw everybody jump on the bandwagon.
Oh my God. Everybody, every major celebrity.
Everyone.
Reposting his picture.
But isn't that why? I mean, if he did it, isn't that why? It almost was perfect.
Yeah.
If they just weren't taking Spirit Airlines to Nigeria, God damn it, that damn Spirit.
Well, you know what? I got to say, the thing that began to tip me off, I believed everything. I didn't think and I thought that it very well could have been that they had been following him like via social media, much like Kim Kardashian when she was robbed in Paris, right? They had been tracking her for a long time. They knew her patterns. They knew that she would post all this jewelry, everything she had with her. So I thought, this is believable. Where I began to doubt was when very shortly after the attack, he decided to take the stage. Remember, he flew out to LA and he decided to do it, and he referred to himself as the gay Tupac. I thought, okay, somebody who is now referring to themselves third person, because think of this, how psychologically fucked up and terrified you'd be, right? If this was true and you were getting the shit kicked out of you at 2 a.m. post Subway by two people you didn't know, you're too traumatized.
I'm just being dramatic.
Most
at the moment.
people are very traumatized to get back on stage less than a week later and proclaim like you kicked their ass too, you stood the fuck up and you're the gay. I'm like, this seems all a little, that's when he began to lose me.
Well, I'll tell you. I haven't learned my lesson good, but I'm going to tell you this.
I know. And then I want to ask you like what you can say about going viral.
I'll say stuff. I mean, whatever.
But you can, yeah.
This is the deal. I hosted a party once at the park during Gay Black Pride with Jussie Smollett.
Down here in DC.
My table was here. His table was next. And we have a lot of mutual friends that, of course, speak very highly of him because they're all like big Hollywood stars.
Yeah, he seemed awesome. Like, and probably still is.
I'm going to just a little moment of this.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen someone with such a healthy self-confidence speaking so poorly to people.
Okay, gotcha. We're following.
You follow me?
Yeah, we totally follow you.
I've never seen, and I was shocked that this person, he was in his own, he was, and I am, and you don't know, and give me space and back that thing. I was like,
Seems like
shit.
He's very adamant to prove that he's like a man that can kick ass. Like, I'm like, why is this, like, where's the machismo thing coming from? Like, why do you feel like you got to kick everyone's ass? Because on Robert Roberts, he's like, and I fought the fuck back. And you're like,
and they ran. I didn't run. Now, if you made all that shit up, oh my God.
What?
Well, let me tell you about a story. And, I think, did I tell you this before?
What?
When I was walking home, they got the wrong one that day. When I was walking home from the store, when I lived on New York Avenue.
Okay.
In the car full of schoolboys, they were at a local Catholic high school.
Okay.
From a local Catholic high school.
Oh, God.
They were the lacrosse team. So they decided they were going to yell out the window, like, fag at me. I'm not a fag. Ha, ha, ha. Look.
What happened?
I was like, fuck these groceries. Fuck these fancy shoes I got on. I'm about to get me some lacrosse players. I took off running through the alley. So look, they're driving down K Street. You got to turn right on 5th and you got to turn right on New York
oh my God,
to head out of the city. I was like, those motherfuckers don't live in this city. They live in the suburbs. I'm about to catch them. Girl, I took off running through the alley. I took off running. I ran out in the middle of New York Avenue. But the thing about me is I have receipts, I'm like, phone video on. I ran out and caught up to their car.
They were at the light. They were
like this.
They were scared shitless. And what'd you say to them? I
tried to bust the windows in. I said, oh yeah, who's your bag now? Yeah, and they were like, sorry. So
I would have loved to have seen you kicking their ass.
I was going crazy. So anyway, they had a sticker on the back of the car with their school name.
Yep.
So I took a picture of the sticker in their license plate and I called the school.
Good for you.
And I went crazy. I said, listen, everybody's special, but I'm an important motherfucker. You got the wrong one today.
I bet the school was shitting their
pants.
Oh
my God. They made each one of those boys write me an apology letter.
Good, as they should.
And it, handwritten.
Okay.
Handwritten, and I still made them quake a little bit. But, after that, I said, as long as they realize, and they didn't do anything, they were just wrong. I mean, but I'm just like, don't I deserve the dignity?
Yeah.
Don't I deserve to be left alone, to be able to walk down the street from the grocery store
leave
to
people
my home?
Alone. Yes.
In a nice neighborhood, too.
Yeah.
Coming over here with that suburban bullshit, messing up my day. But I was so then there's that, and I took matters into my own hands and handled it. And one time I was walking over by Lincoln Park and a guy yelled something similar, something like fag or something, and he threw a beer bottle out. I was walking my dog.
Oh.
And it crashed on the side. I took off running after him too. I don't know what I think I'm going to do when I catch these people, but
well, you're going to kick their ass.
Anything that I've learned from Cleveland, from being from Cleveland, I'm just like, ancestors, work through me and let me give this bitch shaking baby syndrome. Let me just shake the shit out of these motherfuckers.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell me this before I want to ask you about a couple of stories that were big over the weekend, including the guy who went to Outback Steakhouse here in Arlington, Virginia, but now it's gone viral, and he essentially staged on Valentine's Day that his date stood him up. What's with all these people faking all this shit, right?
You get to the bottom of that though. How do you ever get found out about that?
Radio days. Because he admitted it. He's at Outback, and his sister had dared him and told him that she would buy him a steak dinner if he went to Outback, pretended that he was meeting his Valentine's Day date. She never showed, and see if anyone would have empathy for him if he could get a free steak from Outback. So I'll tell you how that goes, and if you're mad about this. But let's talk this, because people on social, I posted the graphic this morning that you were coming in. A lot of people had questions for you. Renzo was one of them. But they also had remembered, which I got to tell you, I didn't even remember you commenting on this, but they did comment on the B. Smith story that you had mentioned on this show. I can't even remember, a year and a half ago. Were we talking about her?
I don't remember ever commenting about this before last week.
Okay. All right. So I know you can't say much because, some things have gone viral or whatever, but I know you as to be a truth teller. So I know that nothing that you said was fabricated.
You know what the shame about this situation is? I'll say too much, but the bottom line is,
I don't want to get you in trouble at all.
I'm not in trouble. I'm
I'm
grown. This is the deal. For 30 years, I've admired B. Smith.
And you all had been friendly or?
Yes.
Okay.
B. Smith, for those of you that don't know, I'm sure you know by now, she was the top lifestylist. She was an author. Her show was syndicated by Hearst, the first Black woman to be syndicated by Hearst. Next fall, of course, Tamron Hall, her show will be syndicated by Hearst. B. Smith with style. She had a full line in Bed Bath & Beyond. She had restaurants. This is a person, her show was called B. Smith with Style. Mine is called Paul Wharton Style. This is a person that I looked up to, I emulated, and I tried to, in a sense, pay homage to her in a lot of the choices that I've made in my own career. I've known her. I got to know her in about 1999, 2000, something like that. Great, great respect. Would I consider her a close friend? She was very important to me, and somebody that acknowledged me and that saw me and that treated me very kindly. She invited me to things. She invited me to red carpets when she knew that I needed to, have a come up.
Yep.
So I have 30 years of respect and reverence. I would never lie about anything that I saw or that I experienced as it relates to B. And my whole concern is for her to get the best care that she can get.
Right.
And it's for her legacy to be protected and preserved. Because one thing that I do take personally, I feel like as somebody in this business, you spend years curating an image, and it works for her. It worked for millions of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We bought into it. We supported it. We built her up and made her who she was. And I'm sure every choice, every time her image was out there, she said, okay, now that's what I want. This is not what I want.
Right.
These people are still human, but you pick and choose. And I feel like her legacy could have lived on in even her brand beyond Alzheimer's, beyond her lifetime, and maybe even my lifetime.
Right.
Because if you think about somebody like Martha Stewart, that legacy will live on.
Sure.
Joan Rivers, who was a comedian, but also a lifestyle person because she's got her QVC Joan Rivers jewelry.
Is that still going?
Hell yeah.
It is?
She's selling jewelry like no, not one.
Really?
Melissa has protected that image. Who was the tall, who's the tall chef woman with the deeper voice?
Oh, not Ina Garten, Julia Childs.
Julia Childs is selling more cookbooks.
I know.
Julia Child been dead since before I was born. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just these legacies and these brands go on when protected and cultivated. And this is what I'm hoping most for B. Smith. But did I tell a lie? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I stand behind everything I said.
I know. So that just kind of addresses that, because people were asking me when that story came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And of course he got so much backlash for supposedly allowing his girlfriend to kind of move in part of the time. At least this was the Washington Post story. And he essentially then wished Alzheimer's on all of us. So thanks.
But what I will say, and I've said this before, is there was no abuse. It was my experience in that moment. And I've shared it, and I don't talk about it anymore because I don't want to garner press off of V's legacy. That's not what I'm out here for.
Yeah.
But I will stand up when I think something's not right.
All right, I want your opinion on these stories. So Outback Steakhouse, Arlington, Virginia, it's Valentine's Day, okay? So this guy decides that he's going to go to Outback and pretend that his date stood him up, all right? Stephen Bonzer is his name. He's 27 years old, living in D.C. He pretended that the woman that was supposed to meet him worked for Deloitte in Arlington. He stayed at the restaurant.
You had a job?
Like, yeah, this guy, he made up the whole thing that she has a job. And he tweeted out pictures for almost 3 hours of how this so-called date stood him up, until a 60-year-old couple who were sitting at the bar had empathy for him and bought their steak dinner. Now, he says to not bring on bad karma, he ended up making a donation of $50. So it was a complete wash, because he knew that, like, bad shit would come back to him basically if he accepted this dinner, when in fact the whole thing was made up. On top of that, since then, Outback Steakhouse isn't mad at him at all. He says that his mission was successful. Despite having no previous acting experience, Bonzer had been able to convince his fellow diners that he'd been stood up on Valentine's Day. And as a thank you, he made a $50 donation to the American Civil Liberties Union, figuring that was roughly what his meal had cost the anonymous couple. Now, Outback Steakhouse has invited him back for a dinner. He has women tweeting at him online saying that they'll actually go to dinner with him, and they're going to give him a free steak. Do you think that this story, do you think this is funny, or do you think that
I think he won?
Here are people, in light of Jussie Smollett, making shit up?
I think this was a lot less damaging because, the whole Jussie Smollett thing is to bring an issue that further divides the country is one thing, then sitting at the to pretend your days stood you up. Now it's kind of funny, and trust me, the people at Outback are loving this because we're talking about them. How much would they have had to pay for this kind of press?
A ton,
a
right?
ton. They should give him more than a steak.
Steven is going by @BaconFlavoring on Twitter if you want to follow him. His original tweet: if I went to Outback Steakhouse by myself tonight and asked for a table for two, then got progressively sadder as the night went on alone, do you think they'd give me a steak for free? It has 4,400 retweets and 24,000 favorites.
I think it's funny.
Someone bought him one.
I think it's funny. People get me all the time. I told you I go in like to donut place or whatever, and I buy everybody donuts.
You do?
I don't know
actually, I did know that. You're very generous. Yes.
Mainly it's because I'm trying to get to the front of the line. You want some donuts? Yeah, you. But you got to get that person to agree to want some donuts too. And if you get the one in front to agree to want some donuts, I'm buying everybody donuts from here to the front.
Okay, how do you feel about this too? I love this story that was going on over the weekend, that more millennials are writing relationship contracts. They're not married. These are not prenups, and they're not even law binding in most cases. They're just from 1 page up to 14 pages. One woman made from New York City, single-spaced, detailing everything. Oh, sorry, she's actually DC based, a 29-year-old woman in DC, 14 pages, single spaced. Unlike a traditional prenup, a relationship contract is generally not legal binding and deals primarily with how to create and maintain a relationship, dealing with everything from finance, sex, chores, childcare, money, or if a parent got sick and had to move in. Would you ever be down for this?
Let me think about this, because so many relationships fall apart because you don't know what the other person expects of you, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because you're bringing to the table all of your past experiences with your relationships. Obviously, if you're no longer in them, none of them really worked out. And that's how we know how to be. And until that person that we're in a relationship tells us how they want things, I mean, when I first heard this, I'm like, that's crazy. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know that it should be a contract or it should be kind of like a user's guide.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, it's basically like going to therapy, because when you go to couples therapy, I know I've been going for years. The therapist is basically making notes the entire time that they come back and reference all the time. Like, oh, you want this out of the relationship, you want that. So it's I mean, I'd be curious to see like if Dan and I ever could have like created that without paying all that money for therapy, but I don't know.
You know what's so
maybe we should
interesting?
have had the contract.
You know what's so interesting about this? It's like you're dating somebody and they say, well, what do you want to eat? Oh, I don't know what you want to eat. You know what you want to eat, but you don't want to tell the other person.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be either the bossy one, the one that's always making the decisions. I mean, ask me. I know what I want to eat.
Every night.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, just leave it all up to me. I'm fine with that. No, but I want the other person to contribute too, because sometimes I'm like, I don't know. What do you
I think to myself, 14 pages. I want to see that DC woman's 14-page relationship. What the fuck
Get her
would
on
you
this podcast.
possibly cover in that? I'm going to. Like, I want you to bring it in. Like, what are you covering in that? I mean, really?
I mean, I saw the little friend contract on The Real Housewives.
Oh, yeah,
of
between
what?
Cynthia and
Yeah,
Nene.
of
Like,
Atlanta. It was like a little one-page handwritten, I promise to never talk bad about you, which was the death of the DC Housewives, by the way. You know, they made a pact not to talk about each other.
that was so dumb.
You don't talk about me, I won't talk about you. I was in the back like this. Y'all don't even know how this shit worked, do you?
Yeah.
This is not how this goes.
I know, it's really a bummer looking back at that show that it didn't work, because they really did have all the Salahis. Like, they had all the good.
Now, Andy
dirt.
Cohen says that it was the White House crash that toppled the show. I mean, I think it was a few different things.
Why would it have been? Wouldn't the White House thing have like led to?
Well, because the government subpoenaed the tapes and it was a big thing and it barely made it on the air. And it just had a funk. It had a stink to it.
Oh.
And of course, nobody wanted that kind of heat. But, you know, I had stuff planned for the second season. I was going to release all these products. I mean, I never put off today. Never put off till tomorrow what you can do today. Because I remember specifically, I did all this research on all these different products, and I was going to be Skinny Girl before Bethany Frankel.
You had drink.
I had everything lined up. I'm like, oh, season 2. And then they put everybody on hold for like March, and we were all getting ready, and I was upgrading everything and decorating my house and shit. I was like, oh, I'm going to unleash this in the first episode, this in the second, and it never happened.
Oh my God. Well, I know. I really wish that had worked out, but you're right. I think Potomac has worked out great, because they do talk shit. It's awesome. I can't wait for season 4, and you've got to do that. And by the way, I mean, come on. I mean, who doesn't like gossip about their friends? It's all in good fun. I mean,
you have the cameras there. They don't care about your kids going to soccer.
Now, look, when you're hooking up with this new hottie that you've met on Tinder, okay? So now Ford has come out with a bed that moves your partner back to their side. Would you be down for this? Have you ever dated somebody?
Ford Motor Company?
Ford Motor Company. The bed, this video is so amazing. It's called Lane # Keeping Aid Tech Monitors. And the bed like slides back and forth, and it essentially moves the partner that keeps like rolling onto you over.
I'm so down for that.
Isn't this amazing? There's no word on how much it will be yet. They're testing it in the UK. But with Ford Motor, you know how like if you start to swerve over across the double yellow lines, it will even like bring the car back. Like it.
I'm not familiar with Ford motor cars. Sorry. You know how fancy I am.
I know, you've got the BMW.
I've driven a Ford since heck was a pup. No, I'm just kidding. But they have some good cars. But they're not sponsoring me. So Ford, you on your own. I don't know, Mustang.
You got to check out this video. It is epic. It has a couple laying next to each other, and every time he or she rolls over to the other person's side, it kind of almost shifts you, like it rolls you over a bit. It's wild.
Well, that's kind of what I like. I mean, how do you feel? Do you get hot?
I'm usually freezing.
Hot?
No.
So you like Dan all over you. You are so damn needy.
I know, I am so.
And you never claim it.
Well,
claim your
I'm
neediness.
independent on the outside, but a wreck on the end.
When Dan's late, are you just waiting by the door?
Of course. Oh my God, I hate not being with Schman. Yes, I love being with him all the
Schman.
time.
I'm sorry. I'm not.
No, we're supposed to be calling him Schman
and
Schmiggy, but we never.
In our friendship contract, call him Schman on the show. Okay.
I'm trying to come up with a new name for him because he doesn't want to be talked about. So I've never told him that we call him Schman on the show.
He doesn't listen anymore. That's great.
Well, yeah, I've banned him from listening. He doesn't.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank God. It's made our relationship a million times better.
I love it.
Like a million. Well, no, I'm terrified because at some point, like year 8 of our marriage, he's going to tune back in and realize that we've been talking shit about him.
He's going to get a new job and somebody's going to like, you're Schman? Oh my God, everybody, you're Schman. That's Schman? Oh shit! Schneehan works here.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
Oh God, he's gonna be ruined.
Okay, let's talk. All right, I have two other sponsors to
Yeah.
thank. I want to talk your new candle line that's
Yes.
coming out. I actually think this is the best product you have ever come out with.
Wow.
I am so excited.
Oh, thank you.
I want to buy these. We need to do a video. This is amazing.
I love it.
Okay,
Let's
so
talk about
all
it.
right, so I want to thank Rock Recovery. Rock Recovery is here in Washington D.C. and they're an amazing organization. They help people who are recovering from eating disorders. So if you know somebody who is battling anorexia, battling bulimia, rockrecovery.org, O-R-G, is an amazing foundation. Their services are, they offer programs, they offer counseling, they offer free support groups for families. You can go to their website, as I mentioned, rockrecoveryed.org. Okay, so rockrecoveryed.org. They're also sponsoring Sunday's mindful eating seminar in Arlington, Virginia. So you'll be able to find out more about them. But I've worked with them because, as you guys know, I've always been fully transparent about my eating issues. And the concept for Rock Recovery, an organization dedicated to bridging notable gaps in eating disorder treatment, started in 2007. And it was all from their fearless leader, Carolyn. She faced a fearful relapse into restricting her food intake, excessive exercising, and binge eating behaviors. And that's how it all started. So if you're at that place or you know somebody that is, Rock Recovery is definitely the organization for you. Check them out. I love my friends that work there. It's rockrecoveryed.org. And you can get involved in any of their programs, or maybe you just want to help or donate. So we absolutely love them. Then I also have to thank Talkspace. We were just talking about therapy. We love therapy, and Talkspace is an amazing way that you can get therapy without ever leaving your house, which is really nice because it's all about being on demand so that you can get the treatment and help that you need when you want it at any time. I've been in therapy for years. As we joke about on this show, I've got a therapist for a therapist. Talkspace online therapy makes taking care of your mental health more affordable and convenient than ever before. Simply provide your preferences for therapy, and Talkspace will match with any of the 3,000 therapists that very same day. Send your therapist unlimited text, audio, picture, or video messages from anywhere at any time, and you'll hear back daily, 5 days per week. All you need is a computer with an internet connection or the Talkspace mobile app. Life can be stressful between work, family, and everything in between. It's not always easy to find time for yourself. It's also affordable. As I mentioned, 1 month of therapy on Talkspace platform costs about the same amount as a single face-to-face session. Best of all, you'll never have to wait a week to share what's on your mind. Talkspace has more than 3,000 licensed therapists who are experienced in addressing the challenges we all face. To match with your perfect therapist for a fraction of the price of traditional therapy, go to Talkspace.com. Make sure you use code FRASE. That's the best way you can support this show. You'll get $45 off your first month and show your support, as I mentioned. So that's Talkspace.com and enter code FRASE. So, Paul, you have...
Oh, we're back. I'm sorry. I zoned out. That was a lot of commercials. Did I tell you that my fee went up this year?
Yeah, okay.
It's true.
I know. I knew it was going to.
Oh, can't hide that money. Can't hide that money.
Why weren't you an auditor? You should have been an auditor. I feel like you could find nickels and dimes anywhere. Like you would know exactly where the money was.
I'm just saying, your ass got paid, and me and you got to have some talking after the show. So what else you want to know? I'm gonna give you a good show.
Let's talk about this candle line. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah. So okay.
Well,
you all know
this.
I have a lot of experiences in my life. And so I think that the things that work the best for me are the most authentic. It's not just me kind of saying, yeah, put my name on that and do something. I love home. I take a lot of pride in home. I like to cook and I like to make it comfortable. And so I've always wanted to do a candle line, but I wanted to make it something that I would have. So this candle...
It's so great, Paul. This is awesome.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, like the whole branding and image of this. I love the wording. I love like the sentiment. It's really good.
Okay, can you see me here? So this is called Aunt Vera's Rolls Royce. So let me tell you a little bit about Aunt Vera. So when I was a kid, my mom's best friend was Vera. And she was my Aunt Vera. And Aunt Vera would absolutely cover me with kisses and hugs and so much love. It was on a whole nother level. When I'm not talking about just a little smooch. Aunt Vera loved me up. no matter what was going on as a young kid, because I did have the jitters when I would go to school and I had little stuff going on, you know,
Right.
oh, the kids aren't going to like me. And Aunt Vera heard this, and Aunt Vera drove at 6:30 in the morning, and she was not necessarily a morning person. Aunt Vera had a Rolls Royce. Okay. She was bad as hell. She and my mom would wear these mini skirts and high heels and have these fancy purses, and they would jump in Aunt Vera's Rolls Royce, and all you would hear is laughter and fabulousness going on the street.
Oh my God. I wish you still had that Rolls Royce because it's awesome. It's on the candle. It's so epic.
It's on the candle. So Aunt Vera, I remember I was just starting school, and the bus stop was about 3 blocks away from our house, living in the suburbs. And Aunt Vera would come at 6:30 in the morning. She picked me up, and I looked outside in that gleaming Rolls Royce. And I was a kid that loved cars. And I saw the beautiful Rolls and Aunt Vera. And it was like, every time I saw Aunt Vera, I thought I won the lottery. It was the best thing ever. And I went down to her car, and I got my backpack, and I sat in the back seat. And we rolled up to the bus stop. And when the bus came, all the kids were hanging out the window. That's a Rolls Royce. And I jump out the back, and I put my hands up in the air, and I'm like, I'm here, everybody. It's me, Paul Wharton. And it
I
gave
could just
me
see you as like a mini, like 10 years
my
old
God.
doing this. Oh my
Shirt
God.
tucked in, big Western belt, cowboy boots, backpack.
Oh my God. I can only imagine it was
hair
epic.
all coiffed, waving like a crazy man. But that car and Aunt Vera's love gave me so much confidence. So when we would go to Aunt Vera's house, the kids would be playing upstairs, and my mom and Aunt Vera would be in the kitchen drinking cocktails, and I would sneak out to her garage. I would sneak out, and I would open the door to the garage, and this smell would overtake you because it was like a new Rolls Royce.
Oh,
And the smell would be like leather and wood. And I remember Aunt Vera's perfume. And so this candle, the first one on my line, and it's so cool because this tab that hangs off of it, it says Paul Wharton Home on one side. And then on the other side, there's a picture
it's
of
awesome.
That's Aunt Vera.
It's really good.
That's
yeah.
Aunt Vera waving in
I
her
really
Rolls
like
Royce. And it says, growing up, I loved my mom's best friend Vera and her fabulous green Rolls Royce. I felt elated riding and blasting music. The rich scent was unforgettable, a mix of leather, wood, Aunt Vera's perfume, and love.
Oh my God, it's so good. I'm telling you, I really love this.
I love it too.
When is this? So when is
So
this going to be
Friday, it
available?
will be available on paulwhartonstyle.com this Friday on my
Oh my God.
website. And go on, and I have a few more we're working on. We're doing one for Grey Gardens, which I love. And then the third is kind of a surprise. So we're doing the first 3. And but I'm launching with this one, and I'm going to have a big party. So I want you to come to it, and you all to come to it too.
Hell yes.
And you'll meet Aunt Vera. There'll be Rolls Royces and everything. You know me.
Yes, we do. Aunt Vera, this
And
is awesome.
do you like the way it smells?
Yeah, it smells
And
amazing.
it's all natural, and it's coconut wax, so it's all natural, and it's
Okay.
all organic, and it has a wood wick, so it's got a little crackle when it burns. It burns for a good long time, and it's got this beautiful glass which is painted on the inside. So it's really fine. You can keep this after. You can plant a little flower in it, and keep it around. And I just think it's beautiful.
Oh, Paul, I think this is going to do really well for you. I really love this. It smells awesome.
I stand by this product. It took me a long time to come up with this, and I did it with love.
It's going to be really good.
Thank
I
you,
can't
Sarah.
Believe, and that's awesome that Vera's still alive. I can't wait to meet her at this party.
Hell yeah. That laugh. She's got the biggest, most loving laugh ever. Aunt Vera's essence will live on. That legacy will live on.
It's an amazing legacy. I can't wait to see this. So Friday, paulwhartonstyle.com.
paulwhartonstyle.com. And then we'll
it.
be in a few stores, and I'll tell you about that.
2 things before we end the show. We do 4 things that are popping, everything in pop culture news, and then Pineapple Mail, which is all your feedback, questions, comments. So Demi Lovato, we're big fans of Demi Lovato, has checked herself back into rehab. This comes after, of course, she made comments about 21 Savage, sort of like saying that I don't even know why. Poor thing. Like that triggered her, unfortunately. And I know I think what she was meaning is some of the memes about 21 Savage were funny. A lot of people were saying she shouldn't be making fun of his circumstance. I don't exactly think she was doing that, but anyway, that spiraled. So she's now checked herself back into rehab over the weekend in Hawaii. So hopefully everything is good
for her.
I know it's been tough for her. It's hard to see her struggle so much, but she's so public,
Yeah, and it wasn't just like, oh, you had one too many, or I think, maybe you should.
Well, I mean,
back
yeah.
a little bit. She almost died.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years of sobriety, and then you go back out and you're like using heroin. Like it's.
Ooh.
I know.
Who does that? Doesn't that make your skin bad? No, I'm not trying to poke fun, but I mean, heroin.
Oh yeah,
You
all
see
that.
what's going on with you with heroin. Your
Yeah,
teeth fall out. Your skin's horrible.
yeah.
My God.
I know. It's really sad. I mean, obviously she's an addict, but it's sad to see. Mariah Carey just won a $5 million settlement against her ex-fiance, the ex-billionaire, for just wasting her time. She also gets to keep the $10 million engagement ring, which I think she's had for a while. James Parker, of course, was the billionaire. They settled the agreement after the Grammy winner argued that she uprooted her life from LA to New York City to be with a wealthy businessman, only to have it not work out. Isn't this amazing?
I think
Only
it's
Mariah.
But I thought that Mariah was kind of with him because he was a billionaire. Did you ever see this guy?
Yes,
It's
he's
like
so
no
hideous.
personality.
Oh my God.
This huge, there was no zoom between them. You know what I mean? There was no energy.
Wasn't like when she was with Nick Cannon. Like I liked Mariah and Nick. Like I thought they had chemistry. He was like really crazy about her. I don't know why that didn't work out. Who knows?
And I think $5 million, I mean, he doesn't care. What's the big deal? Give her $5 million. Does she need it though?
It seems like it. I'm not
She had
gonna
a
lie.
whole life in New York. She had a whole life in New York. She's got that big apartment, that big triplex down in Tribeca.
It's got to be something though, because why? Like you said, like he was, I mean, again, and not that you have to be really attractive, but James Parker is a rough looking fella.
Right.
So they must have been, I don't know, there had to be something else
But
there.
the billion makes everything all right. I don't give a
That makes
shit.
everybody look better.
I don't care if your foot is coming out your forehead. You got $1 billion.
Oh.
You were the finest thing I ever saw in my life.
How do you feel about this? When do you think R. Kelly will be going to jail? Because I have a feeling they are not going to stop. They're not stopping until he's in jail.
He needs to carry his ass to jail. I mean, he needs to be in jail.
Well, according to Michael Avenatti, who is Stormy Daniels' attorney, he is now representing a family and a woman. They allege they have a new sex tape that reportedly shows him having sex with a 14-year-old girl. And some of his alleged former victims might have been the reason that the jury was formed so swiftly. They're saying that Michael Avenatti has tweeted that he has evidence that R. Kelly and R. Kelly's team several years ago, remember when he was on trial? I mean, God, this had to be 10 plus years ago for the first sex tape where he was peeing on the 14-year-old. So Michael Avenatti is saying that they used witness intimidation, they used jury intimidation, they paid people off, all these things that they now say that they have evidence happened, which is why R. Kelly was found not guilty the first time. But he's going to jail. I think it's just a
do you
matter
think
of time.
he deserves to? I think he does.
Yeah, I do.
I think he does.
Yeah. I mean, the women in that lifetime, oh my God.
What about the brother? The brother saying, that
he's already in jail.
The older sister molested them.
She sexually abused them. Yeah.
I
don't know how the hell she's not in jail. I mean, that's disgusting.
But you can't keep that thing going. It's like, this is a lifestyle for him now. He took a little young girl to the, or I shouldn't say it, allegedly, to the, that party he hosted a few weeks ago in Chicago.
Yeah, I know. No, I think I mean, to me, someone like R. Kelly, he has so many issues, and he was so abused as a child himself. I mean, that's a long history.
Just occurred to me.
What?
I used to dance to R. Kelly when I was in middle school at the wedding. I'm 41 years old. What the fuck? How old is this man?
He's in his 50s now, R. Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's close to 50 because he was, back in, early 90s, he was in his 30s when he married Aaliyah. And she was 15. Why
did the girls stay that same age, underage, and he keeps getting older? It's just, enough is enough. Time's up, R. Kelly.
Time is up.
Time's up.
Last one, I get a lot of messages. I posted Shawn Mendes is now the new face of Calvin Klein. My Calvin's coming this week, he tweeted over the weekend, and everyone's going bananas for the singer. I also got several messages that allegedly say that a person who follows us on social media knows Shawn Mendes' team and says that Shawn Mendes is gay.
I mean, just because you're gay doesn't mean you can't be hot and sexual.
I don't know. The message went on. This just will go into Pineapple Mail. The message basically goes on to say that Shawn Mendes' team is afraid to let him come out because they're worried that it will affect his image. Do you think the conversations
it might
that
right
happen
now.
in
he should come out like Ricky Martin. He should just follow the Ricky Martin plan.
When did Ricky Martin come out? Like way later?
Like run that for a long time. Get yourself a house in Miami, a house in LA. I don't know, save several $1 million and then come out and then, let people love you again. That's what you do.
Did Ricky Martin ever date a woman? Did he show up to places with women?
I'm
And
sure he did back in the day.
And make it
I'm
look-
sure he did back in the day. What do you think about Shawn Mendes? That package looked a little light, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it wasn't a
light.
marky mark. It almost looked too like they had to like prop up the balls. Like they almost like had to put something under it to like push the balls forward.
Okay.
He looked small. I'm
He
not
looked
gonna lie.
a little light.
Yeah,
A
that
little
looked like a
light.
tiny dick.
A little light in the trousers.
He's still hot though. I mean, yeah. I mean, when they've got him laying down, they're really trying to put those balls up, and he's in black. You know, I mean, they really look at this. That doesn't look like much of a penis. I'm not gonna lie, does it? He's
What's
got a
that
small
point
cock.
about? You would know.
I mean, how would I know?
My white cock expert over here. Yo, those balls are the balls are pushed up.
They are. He's got tiny balls. Everything's small there. You know what I'm saying? I have seen a lot of dicks, and that you can tell is a small package. Because
I'm happy you're finally settling down. I really am. It's time.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, I hope it works.
It's gonna work. Absolutely, it'll work.
I know. I love Schman.
But did you see that?
He's perfect for me.
Schman is perfect.
Yeah, he really is.
Did I tell you that I hung out with Bette Midler last weekend?
Yes, then I saw that. Yes, for the past month and a half, I've just had like complete
I have
FOMO
to tell you all something.
for your.
So we're at Jennifer Lewis's one-woman show at Lincoln Center the other night on Saturday night, or was it Friday night? Which one?
Friday night. I think
Friday
you were
night.
saying you were going there Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night. And so Bette's there, and then Jennifer has her come to the back, and she grabs me, and she brings me over to meet Bette, and I start singing. What was the first one? Okay, I ended with from a distance, the world looks blue and green.
That takes
And the
balls.
Oh, I sang it to her, and then I sang before that. Oh, how I want to deserve you. And if I couldn't be granted a wish. You know this?
Is that Wind Beneath My Wings?
No, that's To Deserve You.
Oh.
How I want to. Because you got to be a real fan to know shit like that. Do you know what I mean?
You do. Because I didn't know that.
And she was like, look at you. You sure are fancy.
You were like, fuck yeah.
I was like, come on over here, Bette. We had a great time. What a wonderful, isn't life such a blessing?
Life is so, God works in mysterious ways. And I just had this incident over the weekend, right? There was a job that I really wanted, not really a job, but I'd say like an extension of the podcast that I really wanted to happen in the fall. Anyway, didn't happen. And then I just found out that the business that I was working with basically is being sold and liquefied. So it's like, you know what? God has, and if I had gotten that deal or done something,
You would have been caught up.
All that time wasted. Maybe the cash would have worked out. Maybe it wouldn't have.
Mhm.
God always has a plan. And it never makes sense at the time, but then you're like, boom.
Well, I just want to say to anybody listening today, because we are true testaments of this. You know, if something is not going right for you and you're feeling discouraged, distressed, and you don't know what the meaning of life is, and you don't think that there's any reason to really go on, that thing will turn around. I'm telling you, when you just keep pushing forward, you keep putting great vibes out into the universe and work on your stuff, it's going to turn around. And I'm telling you, I promise you, one day you're going to look up and say, damn, life is worth living. Like, I was out in Central Park on Saturday skipping.
I saw that. I saw your Insta story.
Do you remember Skip to the Loo?
Yeah.
Listen, there was no video. I was skipping and giggling and smiling up at the sun and thanking God and putting my hands in the air. And this is coming from someone that years ago I questioned moving forward. Is life meant for me? I was really, really low.
Yeah.
I had some really low moments. And I think I've shared a lot with you. Things will turn around. Just hang on. If you just have one friend, just get yourself one good friend.
I know. And just one foot in front of the other, because life is full of setbacks. It's full of setbacks. And, you get going on the path and it's good. And then, life throws you a left turn. But it all works out.
It really does.
It's really amazing.
And so go ahead and buy this candle, sweetie. It's called Paul Wharton Home on Vera's Rolls Royce.
And you can be smelling that. It smells really good. It
Oh
smells
my
like a
God.
Rolls Royce. It smells super expensive.
Oh, it's rich. Isn't it rich?
I want your thoughts on last two
Yes,
things.
tell me.
Weigh in on this. You guys can always DM me at HeyFrage on Instagram, on YouTube, or you can email Sarah at HeyFrage.com. A listener writes, hey, just wondering if you guys have ever whitened or bleached your teeth. If so, what do you use? They look amazing. Do you whiten your teeth?
Sure. Anything that you think you can upgrade on yourself, I've probably done it. So yes.
Here's my thing. I only whiten them through my dentist now, which is Total Dental Care in Germantown. That's the only.
I can't even have a conversation with her without her throwing an ad up in my face.
TotalDentalCareMD.com. Now, I only do it now because I used to do all kinds of home remedies. You can crush strawberries.
Crank up my Venmo app. Hold up. You say Total Dental, huh? Yeah, all right. So one more commercial, I'm going off.
No, that was it. I used to do home remedies where I would take a little bit of baking soda, water, 1 tablespoon baking soda, like 2 tablespoons water. You make a paste, you leave it on. But I have been told not to do that because it will really.
My grandmother does
enamel.
that. She's 93 years old and
Does
her
she really?
teeth are translucent white. And she does baking soda with a little peroxide and she puts it right on. And people look at her teeth and say, wow, are those your teeth?
I used to
They're
do
fantastic.
that and crush strawberries. You can leave those on for like 2 or 3 minutes and that will also help. But
Really?
I would consult your dentist. I was using all natural stuff. And then my dentist has said that like I shouldn't be doing it because the enamel is
Right.
beginning to come off.
I'm not sharing what I do because I'm going to wait until I get an ad like her. And then I'm
Wait
going to
for
come
the
out.
endorsement.
But
Wait for
these
the
bad
endorsement.
boys are pretty white.
They're beautiful. You'll get an endorsement.
I'm getting one.
Okay, this one is from, I'm not going to use her name. She didn't want her name, but she wants to know our opinion. I want to know your opinion on this. Last year, I met this guy. Let me fast forward to the end. His ass liked me. He lied to me that he was not with anyone. He attended my nephew's wedding. And then I found out he's living with a girlfriend. His girlfriend found out about me. They'd been living together for 2 years, but all of a sudden she got pregnant. Any thoughts? Did she purposely get pregnant to trap him? Do girls really do that kind of shit?
Why does she care? It seemed a little desperate.
She was in love with him, I think. She was in love with him. I mean, come on, like for people to carry on a whole lie, like that you're single.
How long was it?
She says,
Doesn't
last
say.
year I met this guy. Let me fast forward. I mean, look, they had become close enough that he came to her nephew's wedding.
Yeah, but she'd never been to his house.
And he was living with the girlfriend.
Oh.
Do you think, here's my thing. I answered this on
I
social
feel
media.
like people know.
I do too. I think women sense. I think
You
women
know
sense.
he's with
when-
somebody else.
yeah,
You just
yeah.
didn't want to know. I've got a date for the big wedding. I'm no longer alone, Mom. I mean, we've all been through that moment. And I'm not making fun. I'm just saying we have to get to the point where our own value isn't based on who we have on our arm.
But it's hard out there, don't you think? I mean, like people are scamming now. They're scheming more than ever. You don't know who to believe. If you've been alone for a while, you are really seeking like a partner. And for these people to be out here lying that they're not living with someone, that's a lot.
If you can't call them late, if they never invite you to their home,
I agree.
if you
That's
don't
red
know
flag.
their family or their friends, they got a whole nother life going on.
And I think she's got to move on. Look, I always say, and I've said this too. I said this to our friend Danny. You know, if somebody shows you who they are, or like in this case where he's gotten this other woman pregnant, let him go. You know, because you dodged a major bullet. Because if he was doing that shit out on the live-in girlfriend, he's out with
But
you
I don't
going
like
to your.
how she's put it on the girl. Do girls really do this? Did she try to get him? Wait a minute. What about this man? What about him? Let him own this. And also look at yourself because you were turning a blind eye to something you instinctually knew. Like, I know when I'm talking to somebody when they're talking to somebody else.
Yeah,
I mean, I know I've been around long enough to
Yeah.
know that.
I know. Isn't that a good feeling too when you get older and you've been around the
Absolutely.
block?
And then
and
I
you're
have
like-
to make my choice.
So wise to these games.
And I can't even come on here and be like, Sarah girl, do you believe? You know, you're like, wait, did you ever go to his house? Did you meet his mama? Like, where's his best friend? You know,
I
could you
know.
FaceTime him? Like, if you FaceTime somebody and they can never, and they always have to send you the voicemail and then call you back in 10 minutes when they like go for a smoke or go around the corner. You're not
Something's up.
alone.
You're really good at that. And I think it's good to not put it on the woman. I actually said to her on Instagram that I thought women do know when a guy's pulling away. And lots of times they do get
I
pregnant.
saw you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't
You're
agree.
standing behind that?
Well, I do. I think I've known women that have done that. I'm not saying that like takes blame away from him. I mean, he's like a complete dog and you don't want him. Let them, like, good luck to them. And, you know, look, it's not going to save their relationship. He'll still be out cheating even after, like, he might not cheat for a while the kid's coming and all that, but then he'll be right back out. But,
You know, people really need to say what they want. And back to that relationship contract, I think it's making more and more sense to me.
yeah,
Because people really should say what they want and be transparent, because I think in the beginning of a relationship, it's okay to say, you know what? I don't think I ever want to get married. And you know what? Monogamy for me.
So much.
Right. But you got to say who you really are in the beginning, because it's hard to, if you're just meeting somebody at a bar or you're on the first date, say, look, I've never been great at monogamy, but I'm going to see how it goes. Then the other person can decide if they want to deal with you or not.
I think that's a really good point. You're right. You have to be, people are afraid to be who they,
but they're afraid to
always.
lose the other person in the beginning because we're all so damn lonely. We need, be a better friend to your girlfriend, to your guy friend, your best friend. Be a better friend, because people need companionship. They need friendship. They're just out here aimlessly looking for
for connection.
Or a connection.
They are.
And it really doesn't always have to be physical. It's just they want to know that they're heard. They want to know somebody's checking on them, that they got home safe, little shit like that. Be a better friend. That's my advice.
I think that's great advice. No, you're right. And I like the relationship contract. I'm telling you, it's like going to therapy. I think people should go to premarital counseling 100% before you marry them.
14 pages is a bit much though, Sarah.
Hard to
14 pages.
Yeah. And you got to be in a safe space that you can really say what you want and say like your past trauma and issues and fears. And that's tough. It's really tough for men.
Like me, I just want to share this with you about our contract.
What?
If you
have
more than 6 commercials when I'm on this show, I'm doubling my rate.
By the way, people are laughing on Facebook and they're like, LOL, no more nacho commercials.
Cash App. Yep. Who is this?
When Paul first came, he would do 3,000 commercials for one bag of nacho chips.
Bitch had $362 a month coming in from a nacho company. I said, well, how the hell are you going to split that up between all of us? Because I'm going to take at least 300 of it. You got to split that other 62 between y'all. Look, you teach him how to fish. That's all I gotta say. I should have had a friendship contract.
You're the king. Where can people follow you?
Paul Wharton Style on Instagram, Paul Wharton on Twitter. Listen, I have daily new content on Paul Wharton Style. We have so much stuff: travel, cuisine, fashion, beauty, relationships. I have great contributors, Eugents on there. I'm sharing my life on paulwhartonstyle.com. And it's also where you can get my new candle as of this Friday. Go on and subscribe and get on our mailing list so you can come to my big events.
Oh, this is awesome. I'm signing up right
beautiful?
now. Yeah, absolutely.
Look at that site. That's a good site.
It's a beautiful site. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I've subscribed to your newsletter, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Team Paul.
Hey, you're on the team.
Paul, we absolutely love you. Is there a new podcast episode dropping on Thursday?
Yes, this Thursday. Every Thursday at 2, and we're live on fullserviceradio.org. And then after that, you can catch us on Spotify and iTunes and everywhere you can find podcasts.
Yay! Paul, we love you. It is so good to see you. He'll be back again very soon. You guys, thank you so much for today's show. Shout out to Paul Wharton. Love you. Woo! Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Rock
the Casbah, rock the Casbah.
Look at all this. Your mind zone, minus the cocktails. Paul Wharton style.
Like
Yes.
Hey, friends alive, hey, friends alive, rock the Casbah,
Rock the Casbah.
hey, friends alive, hey, friends alive,
The site looks really good.
Thank you, babe.
Casbah.
Woo!
Hey, friends alive, hey.
The Casbah.